Hey, hello and welcome to the channel. This is going to be a little bit different than usual. Firstly, I've got a light now. This screen is quite bright as well, so that's why I look super washed out. But that's kind of exciting, trying to make things a little bit more professional. If you've seen any of my other videos, when I go on Blender now that's got dark mode and all that sort of stuff, it's just kind of been, it's been very dark. And I've also got a pop shield, trying to bring some professionalism to this YouTube channel I've been doing for a little while. And then I've got this other idea pretty much to just look on GeoGuessr on a diverse world here. I'm going to click it so that the bright screen goes away. And get dropped in this random location like what we've got right here. And there's just so many details as an environment artist or a prop artist that you can just look at and just think about. If you don't actually act upon them and model them like I'm planning on doing, then at least looking and seeing this sort of stuff can be super interesting, as well as just getting that general knowledge of knowing where things are. So I thought it was interesting. For me though, I'm going to look and try and find something interesting to model as a practice for modeling. I've not done 3D modeling in a little while. Like anything more than a block out for my personal projects, So let's just, my original idea was to make like a whole game asset with this, but I've just not got the time and I can't find anything interesting enough that's, that's modelable. And I think actually that would be pretty cool to make, these wrapped planks. Like if I had to pick anything, that would actually be pretty cool. So I'm going to screenshot that. And then I'm going to save it. As capture 2, or just capture something that isn't called capture. And yeah, I feel like that could be a strong contender. And right now we're somewhere quite, I wanted to say quite flat. It's kind of weird that it's like one hill and then, oh, actually, no, that looks like, nope, yeah, we're definitely in a mountain somewhere. I thought that we're in a cloud. We're not, it's definitely not flat. Okay, so we're somewhere in a high mountain. And with the buildings like this, I do want to just head up to like sort of this area here. It's not too far off English letters, so I'm hoping just by picking somewhere like quite high up into Sweden and Finland. Ooh, really not bad. It's in Norway. Okay, so I am just playing GeoGuessr at this point. I've already got that image, and I will reopen it if needs be. But I'm having a little look around, and I will pick up something else if I see it. Like things like a bike, I'm not going to do a bike, a car. Potentially doing, if I was going to do a full modeling situation and full through to texture, it's still going to have to be a prop at the end of the day, because making the front of this building probably not the most interesting thing in the world unless it had a really cool feature on the window or something. Can't see that being something that I would make. Something like that though, again, some of this random stuff, it doesn't have to be totally local, but like, oh, even that, if they go right next to that. So just like something random like that could just be cool to make, just for a bit of fun, as something to copy, something from the world. Don't know, it's like hard surface modeling style. But I think that modeling this this thing that I'd found is going to be the way to go. So let's go find that image. There we go. And let's just have a little bit of fun doing that. Okay, so now we're in Blender. I'm going to get started on that thing immediately. Because the whole idea of this deal is just to go have a good look at that. And really the most interesting part here to me is those thin sheets on there. So let's just scale that out to something reasonable. They probably are like a natural size, that like, so we'll want to scale that by half. Uh, Probably like a natural size. Not that I'm too fussed about size. And then really, I did see an interesting video recently. So what I'm going to do is, this is tied like 3 times. Let's not make them totally even. And then I'm going to bevel them. And then just duplicate and separate them. And then what I'm going to do with them is just inflate them. Probably just I'm going to use the dice tool here because I don't want to subdivide it, because I'd get some weirdness. Do that. I don't know if that's going to help or not. Probably might do. And then what we've got is a really, really high poly situation here. So I'm going to even that back out by dissolving that. And then I'm going to probably end up dicing this as well, but let's separate. Let's duplicate and separate that as well. Hide it for now. Bevel this because it's not going to be 100%. Not going to be 100% sharp edges. So I'm going to bevel this one slightly maybe as well, but less on this one. No, well, maybe one more on this one, and then I will do the same thing. I'm going to dice this. It's a very useful tool. Now I'm going to want to do it across them all, especially more on the looking very even. So just dice it one more time on the X. X only. Don't know how many I had. Let's see if it remembers it. It's 13, so 13. Let's go to 26. Don't know if that's how maths works. Apparently it isn't. I'm okay with it being a little bit, well, I can space them perhaps. I can't be bothered, for a test. This is going to be fine. Let's inflate it. And then probably extrude these outwards at the moment. And then I'm going to want to add shape keys to this. And this key here is going to be them expanded. Scale to some of these things. So now that they're expanded, I'm going to, I can move them in like that, which is what we want. And then I'm going to solidify this thing. Wherever the solidify is, I know that's the Y button, but I couldn't see it on there for some reason. And I don't mind it going inwards? Is it going outwards at the minute? Inwards is fine, because we're going to want this to press against that anyway. So now I've got this loop here that I can add collision to. Let's go into the physics tab. And we just make that like advanced collision. Is that how that works? Not too sure, but we're definitely going to add cloth to this one. So let's expand that for now. I'm not sure how this is all working. We've added cloth to that. So now I'm just going to... Oh yes, that's cool. That's working. It's very fast. Best thing about Blender, that I just was able to do that really, really quickly. This inside case now, which is what the planks are, needs collision. And let's see what happens. So now it's falling onto it, and that's fine. But it's not like got that tight wrapping around here. So let's see what we can do to try and get that effect. So let's do this again, but with the cloth set to plastic. Rubber might do it. So it's been changed to a rubber sheet. It's kind of some automatic stuff going on there. And then what we're going to want to do is animate that shrink value. So let's find that pressure maybe. There's a tension. Let's put pressure on. Oh, let's see what this one does. Let's turn on those internal springs option. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to use soft selection to just move this outwards so it all falls around. It's likely that it's going to be the internal springs isn't definitely not the option that I want. We just want pressure. Like if I make that -1, see what happens. Huh. Still staying quite rigid, more than I thought it would. It's not what I intended. Change this back to like a... Just change that type. Actually looking a little bit better. Just change it, maybe get one that looks more like what we want. It's acting a bit funny, to be fair. Don't know why scaling it outwards would cause it to be not great, so I'm going to undo that to the point where I'm going to delete the bottom row, and I'm going to scale it up more. It's being quite rigid. Oh, that's because the springs are back on, so let's turn them off. Change the type to a silk. Just smooth shade it. It really is. It's really. I'm gonna have a little look again. So let's go select the top. I'm going to shrink that inwards. I feel like that's going to. Well, I'm not going to do it there. I'm going to do it as a shape key. So if I shrink that inwards, it might replicate some of the pushing and stuff. Shrink it. It doesn't matter. It's going to fold over the edge anyway. So now when I simulate it, it falls down, and then I can move that value up, and the whole thing is getting a little bit more natural. Like, so that's created. That's So maybe I want to subdivide this. Do one subdivision before that. It's going to start getting funny. But that's starting to come out with the right shapes. So what we've got here, if I turn that back, then we can simulate it. It might be dying. Not quite sure, but that's starting to get a little bit more realistic. So all we're doing is we're animating this stuff. I will animate it. So ideally, this is set to 1 until like there, and then up here it's shrunk to like, well, I'm going to shrink it all the way and see what happens. And then this one should be set to 0 around here until like 30 frames or whatever. I'm going to change it to there, and then I'm going to shrink it in. I'll press play. Turn off that subdivision because it's just killing me. Okay, so that's potentially a little bit more accurate. And then if I apply the subdivision now, actually they're being not very good. What we applied. Remove the collision. I'll apply it because of the shape key, I guess. Screwed them. See how it reacts to that. That's fine. Let's click on the base and scale them in as well. So that should be a similar thing. Okay, and now let's simulate again. So it's definitely pulling in. That's fine. Oh yeah, I didn't put the collision back on. Let's increase the quality of the collision on this. That's a little bit better. And that really just gives me a base. So I'm just going to skip straight forward. I'm going to apply visual geometry to mesh. I'm going to keep them as reference, but really I'm not going to get that far with this. It's kind of doing it for a bit of fun. And the rest of it, I'm going to just isolate. Now I've got this as a reference. Straight into sculpt mode, something that I haven't used for a while, and I've only got a mouse on me at the minute, so but let's go with mesh filter, and let's just maybe enhance details, see what that does. Bit of a surface smooth, maybe. Tiny inflations. But the main thing we're looking at here is the cloth brush, so let's just get familiar with how that works again. So simulation area is local, and I've still got that reference on my other screen, and we know kind of how that looks. So let's just let's not fully isolate because we do want collision if that's going to work. Enable collision on that one. That means that potentially I can't really push it past that point, which is going to be good. It was a better tool. It was the pinch, pinch it, pull it. Not really acting how I remember it acting. My strength is not 100% maybe? Yeah, it's a little bit stronger now. Change the simulation to global. Nope. The grab. Yeah, okay, that's what I was looking for. So let's do a global. Wouldn't say that's making it look better than the simulated result. That might do a little bit. Pull it into there. Kind of pull it into these things a little bit. Pinch and that's making it look nicer over there, but obviously it's messing it up over here. So there was also pinch point. It was pinpoint but plane. Oh boy, that's going to do the job. Let's see. So how does this work? The drag to do it, and that would work real nice. A constant plane as well. At least fun. It's a fun thing to do. So, I mean, I've messed it up quite a lot, but that's the kind of thing that I'd mess around with for that. So now, take it into the nice rendered view. And add in a few area lights for fun. In fact, actually, there's the hops tool. So let's press Q and go to lights. Looks like that's see, let's do that again. Add lights, but let's go with a really good way of making things. And honestly, like if this had a good texture on it, to be fair, how far off can it be? You know, spend a lot longer on that, but like if it was just part of a scene, then the modeling might get you half the way there. Spend a bit longer on it. Turn ambient occlusion on, and yeah, quick bit of fun. Didn't you know? It was fun to mess around with the cloth tools again after a long time. Way more that I could do with that, but fun little experiment. I think I did make a video a while ago that explored some of the cloth tools. or maybe it was an ArtStation blog post. But yes, that was good, and I wouldn't have done it. I didn't know I was about to do it if it weren't for GeoGuessr. So I think that was a fun experiment, and I'll see you next one.